So now that you see how you may be under collecting your taxes and underpaying your taxes, let's show how you actually may be overpaying your taxes. I know your ears probably perked up when you heard that. So let's go and get deeper into this here. So that leads me to problem number 2, incorrectly defining the term gross receipts, right? We've talked about that a little bit throughout this video here, but let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Surprisingly, it's not uncommon for cannabis operators to define gross receipts incorrectly. Pretty much in 90% of the jurisdictions, operators are getting this calculation wrong. So gross receipts is defined as cash collected less consumer taxes, right? So it's the cash you collect minus the consumer taxes. So returning to scenario 2, as in the previous part of this video, remember that local business tax is not a consumer tax. It's a business tax, which means your gross receipts was still $11. However, if you look at scenario 1, you collected $11. $1 of that is sales tax, which is a consumer tax. Therefore, in scenario 1, gross receipts is $10, which we had bolded and you saw that, right? Now, another consumer tax that we see often is the state cannabis excise tax. Understand that the state defines the excise tax and the amount that you are to pay for that, while the local jurisdiction defines what gross receipts are and whether you can actually deduct consumer taxes or not. And as a reminder, excise tax is a consumer tax that dispensaries pay upfront to the distributors, which we discussed in a prior video and blog post on our guide to cannabis taxes for cannabis distributors. So when charging excise tax, dispensaries have two options, right? Number one, they can directly charge 15% to the consumer, or they can say it's included in the cost of the product. And since sales tax is a consumer tax and it's a deductible tax, it is safe to say that excise tax should be deductible as well. But most businesses are not deducting this from their gross receipts. And by not backing this excise tax out, you're likely overpaying your portion of taxes because your gross receipts is inflated. I need to let you know that the information contained in this webinar presentation is meant for guidance purposes only and not as professional legal or tax advice. And further, it does not give any personalized legal, tax, investment, or any business advice in general.